that the blessings of Lord Murugan awaken wisdom. Well, how does that work? Well, where does wisdom reside? Well, wisdom resides in this chakra. Simple way of looking at it. So obviously, he's helping you move from the 3 lower chakras into this chakra. If our consciousness rises into this chakra, then we're a wise person. As soon as it falls out of that chakra, we're no longer a wise person. Wisdom is still there, but we're not in touch with it. That's why we discourage getting emotional. When we get emotional, we lose touch with our wisdom. So if we get emotional, we want to pull ourselves out of it as quickly as possible. That's the idea. Get back into our wisdom. And Lord Murugan can help us achieve that. Just absorbing his blessings helps our consciousness rise into that chakra. That's what this is saying. Worship not only by Hindus, but by Buddhists as well. I have a whole keynote on Lord Murugan as the Guru. It's 90 minutes long, 90 minutes of slides, and I did it a couple of years ago for a group in Malaysia that was putting on a presentation on Murugan as the Guru. As in Malaysia, they have issues with, shall we say, questionable gurus come up all the time. Different individuals are making pretty outlandish claims in Malaysia. So this was this organization's effort to look at things in a more traditional way. Oh, I did my research on images, and a very interesting one is Murugan is seated on a peacock, and he has 6 faces, but the faces are those of a Japanese man. So we have a Japanese version of Shanmuga. Each face is Japanese, and there he is on his peacock, looking very Japanese, but he's Lord Murugan through the Japanese way of depicting him. I also checked on Murugan in Shingon Buddhism. A lot of the deities of Saivism ended up in Shingon Buddhism. In fact, Shingon Buddhism, traditional Shingon Buddhist place does a homa every day. And they write their prayers on wooden sticks and burn them in the homa, just to show the similarities. They're burning prayers in the homa on a daily basis, but they're writing them on sticks instead of writing them on paper. So he's called, in Shingon Buddhism, he's called Skanda, Aidatan, and Kumaratan. In Mahayana Buddhism, he's called Skanda and Wei Tuo. And Skanda's function is very interesting. In Buddhism, Skanda's function is to protect the monastery, the monks, and the religious teachings. That's how he's described, right, in the Shingon Buddhist page in Wikipedia. So very attuned with how he's looked at in terms of how Hindu monks look at him, the same way. He's protecting the monasteries, the monks, and the religious teachings. He is the authority behind the king. Nowadays, any government which rules the people. So this is an interesting graphic I have. I have the king there with his scepter, and then I bring in, through a slow fade, the veil right on top of the scepter. So the scepter turns into the veil in this keynote slide. So he's right there, behind the governments. Doesn't care what government it is. He helps government rule in a just way. And then inspires penance, such as carrying kavadi during Taipusam. Of course, the picture itself is of Batu Caves, which is famous for kavadi during Taipusam. Kavadi is also quite popular in Mauritius and is 10 days long. Or 10 days of austerities are performed in Mauritius, not just one day. A very serious time of year for Mauritian Saivites. And the purpose of carrying kavadi softens karmas and purifies the mind. So as in any Hindu practice, the practice doesn't work automatically. If you carry kavadi, no matter what you're thinking about, no matter how you do it, it's going to soften karmas and purify the mind. No, it doesn't work that way. You have to do it in the right spirit in order for it to work. Generally, I describe that in terms of the temple. Temple has certain benefits. Simplest way of describing it is chitta shuddhi. It purifies the mind. The blessings in the temple purify the mind. But if you're in the temple, and you're standing in the back and you're thinking about what you're going to do when you leave, it doesn't purify the mind because you haven't put yourself in the right mood. You have to put your mind into the right attitude for the practice to work. So similarly, we have to do kavadi at Thaipusam time with the right frame of mind. The way I suggest it is, ideally, we have in mind specific misdeeds that we're apologizing to Lord Murugan for doing. It's not general. If you do it on a yearly basis, then you're just looking back 1 year. Okay, these are the misdeeds that I did this last year that I still feel bad about. In our explanation of how to respond to a mistake, the first one, which we try and get out of as soon as possible, is we feel bad about having done it. So we want to pull ourselves out of that as quickly as possible, go on to the learning stage, right? We want to figure out how, if we're in a situation again, that this error won't occur. What can we do differently next time this comes around? We want to learn from it. And then if we still feel bad about it, maybe there's other people we need to apologize to that were involved. We've upset them, and therefore in some way, either directly or indirectly, we need to apologize to them. So if we've done all those three things and we still feel bad about it, the fourth thing is penance. Because we're not supposed to feel bad about anything. That's not Hinduism. I feel bad about all these things I've done wrong. That's not Hinduism. We want to get rid of that feeling by learning, by apologizing, and by doing penance. So there's no negative emotion tied to it. It's just, I learned from this experience. Certainly won't do that again. So the penance, we need to have in mind specific misdeeds, apologize to the deity for doing them, commit ourselves to doing our best not to do it again. We're promising the deity, okay, I'm going to do my best. We don't want to say I'll never do it again, because then if we don't live up to that, we can really feel bad. So we're committing, I'm going to try my best not to do this again. Oh, that's a good spirit to approach it in. We're asking for Lord Murugan's blessings in that specific way. This is the misdeed. Apologize for doing it. I'm going to try my best not to do it again. Then if we do it in that attitude, then there's a good chance we'll get the full blessings, which, as it says here, softens karmas and purifies the mind.